Hello and welcome back to a brand new video. We're down here, we're on Brunswick Street in Fitzroy. Recently, the Penington Institute have set up basically a mock cannabis shop of what they think a cannabis shop should look like based on their plan. So in today's video, we're gonna head down, check it out, hopefully chat to the bloke, see what they have in store. Literally. So, without further ado, let's head down and let's have a chat to this geezer. Let's fucking get it. So who are you and why are you here?
Yeah, hey, my name's Reese. I'm the policy officer at Penington Institute, and we're here in our pop-up mock licensed cannabis outlet in Fitzroy, Melbourne, promoting the Penington Cannabis Control Plan that we launched last week.
And can you explain this space? So you've rented out this sort of area. And what's the plan?
What's the plan? Yeah, so it's a pop-up shop space that we rented out. And the idea was to make it look like what a hypothetical licensed retail adult use cannabis outlet could look like, according to the plan that we've published. We thought it would be a good way to catch people's attention and get the community talking about it. Our thinking around it was, often people say cannabis legalization, it's probably going to happen at some point, it's inevitable, and that's sort of where people stop thinking about it. But we want to say, well, if it's inevitable, how could it look? There are a lot of different ways in which you can go about regulating cannabis and a lot of different ways in which you can organise a space like this. What's going to be the best for Australians? You know, what's the most effective and community-supported approach for a retail cannabis outlet, basically? Yeah, okay,
cool. So I was speaking to David Shoebridge recently around his bill. Mm-hmm. Is there any correlation there? Or is this sort of your own vision, I guess?
Oh, I mean, like we definitely, we read very widely and did a lot of research, both from Australia and overseas, cool. To learn from different experiences that sort of influenced the final sort of proposal that we came up with. There are some similarities and differences with Shoebridge's bill and with other ways in which cannabis is managed. Yeah. The proposal that we've put together is probably closest to some of the regulated cannabis frameworks in Canada. Okay, cool. And in particular, Quebec is sort of probably the closest similarity that's currently in operation. Yeah.
Can you briefly explain the vision, like your plan, I guess?
Sure, yeah. Well, it's basically to legalise and regulate cannabis for adults in order to undermine the illicit market and allow adults to not have to interact with criminals and provide them an opportunity to engage in health messaging and harm minimisation advice in a safe and controlled way that, benefits everybody, basically. Benefits people who use cannabis because they can now use regulated products of a known consistency and quality and not fear being arrested. Supports the rest of the community as well because it does cut the knees off organised crime to some extent and brings a lot of other health and social and economic benefits along with it too. So we think it's a win-win.
And what sort of products would you be looking to sell it?
Yeah, so there's no products in this store, of course, but in the Penington Cannabis Control Plan, we propose selling both dried flower and edible products in retail outlets with limits on product packaging. So we're looking at plain packaging, similar to Australian tobacco packaging, for example, and potency limits as well. So there would also be limits on the volume that you might be able to buy at any one time, and other sensible controls, things like making sure that the shops are fairly nondescript and no flashy signage, no advertising or promotion of any kind, and a lot of prominent health messaging.
Cool. And would it affect the medical market at all?
We see this as being entirely separate from the current medical cannabis framework. Yeah. So the medical cannabis framework is important and it needs to be protected and maintained. And we think that more clearly separating medical use from non-medical use will actually benefit both medical and non-medical consumers, because at the moment it's probably a little bit blurred in terms of what the medical cannabis framework is doing at the moment. Having a clearer separation between the two, I think, would be helpful.
Cool. And was it sort of difficult to set up this space, like any red tape or anything?
No, well, like, I mean, no red tape really, because, as conveniently, we're not actually selling cannabis. So that was a huge help, I think, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But no, we did do quite a bit of work. We spoke with all of the neighbours nearby and gave them the heads up, and everyone was very supportive. We haven't had any issues or complaints or anything really. It's been remarkably boring, which was kind of the point.
Cool. And what does legalization mean to you?
I think legalization to me is just acknowledging the reality that people use cannabis, and prohibiting cannabis has not stopped people from using it. So it's just about acknowledging the facts and following the evidence. And the evidence shows us that there are better ways to regulate cannabis other than criminalizing it that produce better health outcomes for people and better social outcomes for our communities. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, cool. All right, and last question. Where's the ultimate sesh spot?
Ultimate sesh spot. Well, in the Penington Cannabis Control Plan, we feel it's important that cannabis is not used in public.
Okay, cool.
Just because we want to make sure that community spaces and public spaces remain enjoyable for everybody.
Sure.
So the best sesh spot would be at home in private, to be really boring with my
No,
with my partner. Yeah, if people want to find out more about the campaign and what we're up to, or read the Cannabis Control Plan, you can go to regulated.com.au, and all the information is there on the website, so check it out.
Beautiful, appreciate it. Alrighty, yeah, I'm now home, and sort of as I was heading home, I was reading their booklet here, and I realized that maybe there's a few things that I should sort of clarify about their PCP. PCCP, the Penington Cannabis Control Plan. So yeah, they've got here that regulated cannabis products will only be produced by licensed companies. Tobacco companies will be excluded from the cannabis industry. They exclude extracts or concentrates such as dabs, resins, or liquid vape cartridges from being permitted. No flowers exceeding 25% THC. Edibles must also contain no more than 10 milligrams of THC per package, and obviously not sold as lollies. All products must come in plain, uniform, unbranded packaging with relevant health warnings. And of course, all products must comply with strict quality and safety standards. Of course, access will be restricted to adults 18 and over, and the outlets or the shops will be discreet, I guess similar to what you saw. No advertising or promotion will be permitted, with only necessary factual product information displayed in the outlets, which I would assume would be, strain name, THC and cannabinoid percentages, and I guess hopefully terpenes as well. And outlets will not sell more than 50 grams of dried flower or its equivalent in edibles to a single customer. Adults will be able to possess up to 50 grams of cannabis in public spaces, but they will be prohibited from using cannabis in public spaces. So yeah, you'll only be able to use cannabis in private spaces out of view of public spaces. There will be no cafes or sort of on-site consumption, and adults will be permitted to grow no more than 2 cannabis plants per household, and only for personal use. Of course, it will keep the existing driving laws, workplace safety laws, and the existing medicinal cannabis framework will remain. There is a lot more to read on that as well, so if you're interested, I will link the PDF and their website below, and you can read that in your own time. But yeah, I don't know. What do you reckon? Does that sound like a good plan? Please let me know down below. What would you do if it was up to you to legalize it? Would you even legalize it? I don't know. Let me know down below. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this video. So I don't know. I'm going to, I guess, play the outro that I filmed back in Fitzroy or some shit. But yeah, cheers. Thank you all very much for watching this video. It was cool to check out the Penington Institute's little mock cannabis shop here in Fitzroy. Unfortunately, it is closing today. They're actually packing up tomorrow. Make sure you go check out their links if you're interested in seeing their plan and everything that they have to offer. Of course, like the video if you did enjoy it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Big shout out to Reese and Anna for sort of getting this sorted out. Fucking, yeah, it was pretty sick. But yeah, that'll about do it for this episode. So, I will see you next week in the next one. Peace and love.